down to the surface. It won't be anything sudden, just like a leaf drifting gently out of the tree, back down to the surface. And as you come back down to the surface, I want you to tell me the very first thing you see down there below you, or the very first impression that you have as you come back down to the surface. And as you come back down to the surface, tell me, what is your first impression? What do you see down there below you?
We want to welcome you to the 11th frequency and level of the Orion Council.
Very good.
We are here this evening to assist you in your quest. You can call us Maya and we will communicate with you.
Thank you.
We are so pleased to see that you found back and doing this work together again. That pleases us very much, because it's going to be so more important in the future.
Thank you, Myra. Myra, and I am happy to be a part of this. And we were taking a break, and I think it was a good thing. But we are back and we are ready, and we are so appreciative that you are here with us today.
You are so much welcome.
We had a few questions to ask, and we had questions for Lars, and we wanted to get those questions out of the way first. Is it possible to do so?
He has already asked that question, so you are welcome to express it verbally also.
Very good. The first question that we had for Lars was, he had a desire to know why was he chosen to receive the mathematics and the quantum technology, because he doesn't have a huge history with that type of information. And
On the contrary, he has a lot of experience in that area, but he's for the moment not remembering that. But for every session we have with him, he is going to wake up more and more to be able to reveal his earlier knowledge about these items.
Very good. That's what I was thinking whenever he asked me, and I'm very happy that that was the same. Um,
It's his insecurity in himself expressing that questions. He had this because he had earlier experience on being questioned about his part in this area, and he's little worried about getting criticized, but we're helping him and boosting him in this in every way we can.
Excellent, excellent. He also had he we discussed this beforehand about how you were raising his vibration, and I gave him an explanation. But if we could hear it from you, that would be
We
excellent.
don't raise it, he does it himself. We just make the path clear for him, how to climb through the different frequency. It's so easy when you understand you can be in and out of a frequency in a blink of an eye.
Uh,
And also we want to point out for you that that's the way we travel also. We travel by the thought, not always by craft. The thought is much more faster than any craft in any frequency. You can think yourself anywhere in the universe in a blink of an eye also, and then you are there.
Very good and understood. Um, there, um, one more question, personal question he had was about his mom. He hadn't had an opportunity to connect with his mom in his meditation, and he was wondering if it was possible that if her energy could come forward, or her higher self, and have a communication with him.
Her energy is with him all the time, but she is still adapting to this new environment where she is being for the moment. And she still needs some time to resonate with that environment. And she's getting help with this, and as soon she is settling down in this, she will be able to communicate directly with her son.
Ah, very good. Very, very good. And so, if there's anything personal at this time right now that you could uh, relay to Lars in this moment that would help him with everything that he's been receiving, and anything that you know that he may have and he's not even thinking about, questions that he may have, that would be very much appreciated as well.
We are aware of some worry he's carrying around, and we will help him with this, and he's getting messaging all the time that will help him to get rid of that lack of confidence and his imagination that he's not good enough. He's a very high being that's been involved with this so many times, but this time on earth has also limited his way to connect. But that will go away soon.
It's quite the challenge to physically incarnate on the planet Earth in this time, would you say?
It's definitely so, yes.
Very good. Thank you. We appreciate that. Uh, and what about Hank? You know, we've been. How are you and I connected in any way whatsoever, or my higher self? I believe you may have mentioned this before.
You and we are in different council, as you would like to call them, working together in many different areas. And you have also volunteered to do this many times before, and you're doing a great job with that.
You mentioned when you first acknowledged us. I didn't get that part on the video, but that's absolutely fine. You know, we always tape these sessions, that you were happy that he and I were back together doing this important work. We have been under the impression, or Hank has, I've been under the impression that there were outside forces possibly interfering or manipulating uh, myself, and possibly even Lars. Is that possible in the scenario that we just encountered? And we'll go into more depth later.
There is a lot of things going on right now because there are a big raise in the frequency on your planet, and a lot of things happening at the same time. There's a lot of fear mongering. There's a lot of dark energy they're trying to get through. And you are all affected with this, not always directly, but you have contact with others, you have contact with your thought pattern, that your mind playing tricks on you also. But this is going to be lifted off you, and it will no longer have any effect in your lives. You are already now seeing more clearly and understand what is the truth, what is the fear talking.
Understood. Thank you very much. Is it possible when we do these particular type of sessions that a negative voice would be able to come in and influence what uh, you are saying or what we are receiving?
No one can break into your frequency without you allowing it to do so, and no one can touch you when you're communicating in this way. So you have no fear. Have no fear in that, because that's not possible.
Ah, very good. I didn't think that it was. Now, one thing that's being said, and you probably know we discussed this at length before we began. Um, we were discussing, they call this voice of God technology. They're saying that there's this technology that they are using against the channelers on the planet to instill and manipulate the messages that are coming through. Is there a technology that is capable of doing such a thing?
No, that's not the case. They are trying to map everything that's going on, and it's usually the military forces doing that and trying to manipulate with different things, but they are not so successful in that. They can manipulate your technology, your computers, your radios, and your gadgets you have around you, but not your mind. Not when you are that enlightened that you are now. They can reach for a more dense frequency that can reach out for them and influence them, and them then influence many others. So they try to make a chart over how this works, but I have no really a clue what's going on. They're just guessing.
So, but I'm speaking in particular about um, a there's a gentleman, his name is Corey Good, and the other gentleman's name is David Wilcock. And Corey has presented to David in a internet program that they do called Cosmic Disclosure, and they say that they have a technology, like I said, called the Voice of God, and that this Voice of God is interrupting or putting thoughts into channelers' minds and manipulating their messages. And I know you answered, but I want to make it very clear. I'm not speaking about myself or Lars anymore. I'm speaking about, is there a such thing as this voice of God technology, and has it been used to manipulate other channelers with the messages that they're receiving? And
No, the voice of God is within you all, but there is no technology like a beam gun or something like that that can change your knowledge, your insight, or your frequency. They have tried to develop a lot of different technology, and also they have help from different ET entities in the past to develop technology, but they will not work in the way they would like it to do, and they are not able to reach out to everyone that is going to go to a higher frequency in this timeline. It's not possible for them to reach all of you.
Very good. I did not think so. As soon as the moment that I heard it, I was like, that just doesn't sound correct. They said also that there was technology that they were using that was connected to every single person on the planet, and that they were monitoring everyone, and especially the ground crew and light workers, and that they were influencing them. And I just was thinking, man, it was sure would take a whole lot of people to be able to be monitoring something like that. But that may be with my limited imagination. But you say that is false.
We think were presented to a lot of different technology that they imagine could have different impact, but that's not the case. The military, or the black ops you like to call it, use different methods to try to penetrate what's going on. They often use this microwave, high microwave, to look into a building, but they cannot look into your mind, and they cannot not look into your intention and feelings. That's not possible for them.
Very good. Another, now it just comes to mind, and I'm really happy that we're having this conversation. They said that people, and I don't know if this, I believe this may be misinformation as well, that people are channeling and they are getting receiving information from things that have happened in our linear experience, what we would call the past, and things that have happened on other planets in the past and in other dimensions. Is that correct as well?
We,
Or
we are aware there is many theories about the past and the future, and we are aware of these messages going out, but we won't say that they are trying to mislead. They are assured that that is the case when they put this forward. But sometimes they have been misled in their information, and they talk before they think. And that is never a good thing. And often is there the own person's fear that is hindering to see clear of what really going on with themselves or with the surrounding around them.
understood. Thank you very much. This is very enlightening information, and we appreciate it tremendous. And now, another question that we had to ask about, we'd asked this question before, but we're going to ask it again, and our communication seems very clear. We spoke about breakaway civilizations. Breakaway civilizations, by the definition of what's being said, are civilizations that are here on the planet that have rose, like Atlantis and Lemuria, and those type of civilizations that have removed themselves from the mainstream and have taken refuge underground and, as we were told before, underwater. Are there breakaway civilizations of earthlings that have raised their vibration or become to a such high level of technology to where they are not dependent upon the surface population in any way, and they're keeping themselves disconnected from us or monitoring us and maybe manipulating us, saying that they are extraterrestrials? We have been told that in the Corey Good story on cosmic disclosure as well.
We cannot see a hidden society that are in that direction. We know that a lot of ancient knowledge is still kept in secret, and we can also say that it's a part of your society They still want to be in power, and now feeling they losing their power to control, and they are trying to use that knowledge from before, from ancient time, to stay in control and in power of your planet. But there is no hidden society, but there are a group of people that have on their self decided to isolate them from the rest of society in a different you can say they try to isolate them not to be so influenced from uh, bad media, bad information, because they want to stay out of that, to be able to concentrate on their missions. So, in a way, there are people isolated, but self-isolated, because they decided so, but no hidden society anywhere.
Exactly. They call them breakaway civilizations. That's the adjective that they've given themselves, the name of the groups of people that have isolated themselves. And they say they've isolated themselves deep in the ground
No,
and
that's
away
not the
from.
fact. That's
Okay.
not so. They isolated within themselves in smaller groups and no hidden society anywhere on the earth. There is not possible because we are watching, and the blue beings you often talk about are controlling or overseeing what is happening here. And not only on your planet, the whole solar system is under surveillance from a very high knowledge frequency.
So is this what you would call mixing the truth with lies? There's no other word.
Mixing truth with misdeceptions.
Well, misdeceptions. Okay, very good. Okay, so we were told in those sessions with Corey Good that the hidden or the breakaway civilizations uh, disguised themselves or lied or uh, misrepresented themselves, saying that they were extraterrestrials, so that the surface population of the planet would not be looking for them underground and still be looking into space for them when they would arrive and do whatever they were doing to, you know. So all of this is basically, I call it this.
Misunderstandings and misdeception, and they are afraid. There are also a lot going on now. They're talking that aliens is coming to take over Earth. If they wanted, the entities from outside Earth wanted to do that, they can done that 1,000 years ago, and they have no attention in that direction. All the entities that are here now is here for help, and there is no higher frequency that use force or military force to influence anyone, because there is not that kind of feelings and perception in them. They have passed these violent periods of war and come to the understanding that there is no winner in a war, there's just losers. And if they would like to do this on your planet, they should already done it, and they are not able to, and there is not that kind of force out there.
Oh, very good. Very, very interesting. And I would almost say controversial information, because there are so many channelers literally who are saying, "Oh, everything that these gentlemen are saying is correct," and
You only
it's
need to ask yourself one question. You only need to ask yourself, why would the purpose be with this? If you can find any purpose that resonates with any rational thought, you are welcome to express it, but you will not find that if you just think about it. What would the purpose be with a hidden society and the aliens coming now, this linear time, to take over your planet, when they could do that for so many thousand years ago if they wanted to?
that's understood. Well, what they're saying now, like I said, truth mixed with lies, because they've been speaking about the blue. What they're calling them are the avian and the blue spears. Hey, they've been speaking about them, and I've seen them on my videos, the blue spears that have come through, and I've had communications via this way in my QHHT sessions where they said that I was connected with them, and so, but not to just mention that I'm being connected with them, but that, like I say, truth mixed with lies, because they said that they had been influencing the planet. And so I have another question that has to do with this whole extraterrestrials on the planet working behind the scenes with our governments. They said they were the Draco and some mantis and the Greys, and I know we've gone into a deep discussion about the Greys.
Yes,
So are the Dracos? They say now. You said before in a session that they had been deported off the planet.
yes.
Well, what they're saying is that they're on bases on the moon, and bases on Mars and throughout the solar system. That these Dracos were here, and they call them a royal Dracos, a white dragon royal Dracos, who are behind the elites on the planet, and that has given them technology. What is the truth in any of that?
There is ancient bases on the moon, but they are long time gone. And the only entities that has encountered with your elite and your military are the Greys. The small Greys that are like a machine and not a soulful entities. They are just doing what they think is good for them. Their purpose is try to understand how the soul of a human being works and how it comes that we have this ability that you have with your soul that is ever forever living.
Understood. So when they're speaking about the Dracos and all of that, that is then still misinformation, or
They are
it,
gone.
they're gone.
Yes.
They were here at one point, though. Is that correct?
There have been many different entities on this planet before.
Okay. And did they influence the human race with DNA tampering?
The Greys tried to, just to get a hybrid where they thought they could have a soul to isolate and understand. They don't understand how this is energy coming from the God source, from the creation source. So they try to understand that, and that was the purpose of getting involved with people from the first time that connected the elite and the military. And it's
Under,
happened many years ago. We can say it started in the year of 1933.
Understood. So this whole Draco thing is just um, a fear tactic?
You are right in the word of fear. It's
Very
not
good.
a tactic. They think that's the truth, but it's not.
So, artificial intelligence, they're saying that there's an artificial intelligence that is running or the mastermind behind this whole Draco thing that they keep talking about. Is there an artificial intelligence in this solar system that is doing the nefarious?
Small grays are that kind of intelligence,
Uh,
but
Very
they
good.
have not that big influence anymore. And they are now not directly in connection with your elite because
Uh,
they have understood that they cannot come closer to their goal through doing this, and therefore also this, you say, when I took people to do medical medical experiment, there's not
yes.
longer either going on now.
Understood. So, what about Zachariah Sitchin? He spoke of the Anunnaki. Are you familiar with the Anunnaki?
We are familiar with the expression, yes.
And who is or the Anunnaki? And I'll just let you tell me as opposed to what's been said about them, because they're woven into this entire story as well.
If all of us coming from one source, is that not so then that we all are Anunnaki? If it's true, then some of us have a negative energy that we have to release. And that's what you, Lars, and many else on this planet is helping with now, to have people to release their fear, because fear is the biggest issue that you have to deal with.
Very interesting. And so, Anunnaki, what does Anunnaki mean? Do you know what that word means?
The word has different meaning. In past time, Anunnaki was said to be a superior race that tried to influence your society in ancient time and also in this time. But we can say that it has no impact on your humanity society anymore.
So, is it true then that they have manipulated our DNA and helped lower our vibration? Or it's in a sense enslaving us into this third dimensional expression?
It has been some big wars going on, not in, only in the solar system, but in entire galaxy. But this is not now so anymore, and the many have tried to come here and interfere with your humans because they come as gods, as they said they are gods, but they were just trying to get the power over you. But the war also bring a lot of your knowledge and lot of your energy to a more denser energy, as all negative thoughts, feelings will do. It always lowers the vibration with wars and conflicts because it's contrary the, the purpose you are here for. You are here for bring love, to spread love, because that's the energy that is forever living. Everything else is in vain.
Understood. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You have cleared up so much. And there are many people who watch these videos, and I'm sure a lot of people will probably have their mouths open going, oh my goodness, because even some of the people, I'm so like, I won't start naming any more names than the names that I've named already with some of the things that they're saying. How are they? I mean, that means if so many people are presenting this information in this way, are they all in cahoots?
No, but by they are influenced by certain entities on your own planet. Your own people influence them, and in this timeline, when you have this possibility to communicate over vast distance, it's spreading very fast, and every person that has fear in them will be perceptive to these energies. That's
Uh,
why we so often point out that it's so necessary to let go of your fears. They are controlling so much of your ascension and your development, and that's not so good for you.
Understood. So when you say entity, that means
It's
people.
energy on your own planets that try to fight every change that is going on, but it's your own people. There's nothing from outside, it's from inside.
Because you refer to Lars and I as entities, and so I understand that.
We
Uh,
all are entities or frequencies.
Absolutely. Very, very good then. So my next question was about uh, the avian you spoke of before. What do you know of the law of one? It was channeled, I believe, in the 80s. I may be incorrect, but it was the law of one. And the entity that came through, they always said, I am Ra. They were, and now the Corey Good and David Wilcock, or Corey is speak, or David always speaks about the law of one, and Corey is saying that one of the blue entities who's having communication with him that he's met in person physically. Uh, he says his name is Ratier. Is that the what? Like I said, I'm sorry. What do you know of the law of one? And is that the same Ra as
The,
from the law of
the,
one?
the law of one is the only law that is important, and that is unconditional love, nothing else.
And do no harm.
Yes, exactly. And
Yes.
the blue entities you're talking about is not the same as the blue perceptive of entities that are here overseeing the progress going on this planet and your whole solar system.
Okay, so let me just be clear to make sure no one is confused. They're the blue entities that are bird-like. They are calling them the avian, and then there's another entities there that are spheres. Now they don't have a name for themselves, but the according to Corey Good and what have you, is they're called the Spear Being Alliance, or they're spear beings, those big blue orbs that came into our solar system, which are supposedly overseeing like everything that you absolutely said earlier. So there's two different entities, one the blue avian and the other the blue spheres, which are energy entities, of course, as we all are, but that's how they present themselves. And well, I've been told that they can present themselves in any way that they desire. Can you distinguish, is that what you mean, distinguishing that they're not the same, or are you speaking of something else?
We are so much amused about this need for you to put name and label of everything.
Well, that's just a part of our being human, but this
We
is
are so much aware of that, so I will try to help you distinguish with this different. It's
thank you.
just different frequencies in influencing you. The blue orbs, or what you call them, is the energy of communication. Blue is the color of communication.
Yes,
And
understood.
then they come in to help you to make your voice heard, to make your what you're sending out to be perceived by so many as possible. The avians, you call them, is a high frequency vibration that are not in direct contact with any of you in this moment. They are there to just look and control what's going on, so nothing is going in the wrong direction. Because
So, how are we familiar, or even if they're not having connections with anyone, how do we know that they're there? How would we even know that they were
you
there?
are in connection with them all the time, but not in your reality.
Ah, very good.
Yes. So they are communicating with you, but not in some kind of body form or anything like that, because they have no body. They are pure love and energy. But we don't have name of them, but you have names on them.
Do you recognize that there are many people who are saying that they're channeling them and that they're giving them information?
That is possible to do, of course. If they want to communicate with you, they do so very easily. But we can't see that they would communicate these messages that your people put out, because there are still a lot of fear in that messaging, and that is not what they are supposed to be. They are not doing that. They
Understood.
are directly from this source. They are a very old energy, the originating from the start of everything.
Understood.
And the
So
start of everything is going on every day.
we're being told by Corey Good that the spheres have literally manifested in his home and literally transported him from here to the moon and to they call it the LOC, the Lunar Operations Command Center, and where he's had meetings where he said that the uh, avian, and they were bird-like blue entities who called themselves Ra Tier and was communicating in what you councils, making all these decisions about what's going on the planet. Is there any validity in that now that where they physically have taken his body from here and manifested him or transported him within the spheres to the moon?
We will not elaborate on that so much now, but we can say that this man has for certain been in the military.
Okay. So, I mean, because of everything you've said thus far, uh, and I understand when you say you can't elaborate on it, but can you say if it's true or if it's not true? Because that's basically the foundation of everything this communication that we've had thus far. All of the information that I'm speaking about, or majority of it, is coming from this gentleman, Corey Good, and he is literally online on a online television station with the gentleman David Wilcock, and they're presenting that scenario in the program called Cosmic Disclosure to the Planet. Someone has to know if that is real or not because it's influencing a lot of people. It, whatever you
We
may.
can tell you this, that this is nothing that is going on now. No.
Oh, thank you.
We will not say if it's true or if it's not true. It's nothing that's going on now. You don't have to worry about that.
Okay. There was actually no worry because they're presenting themselves as the good guys. And so, it's giving a lot of people hope, but I guess it could be false hope and to be so let down, you know.
Can anything that is hiding either on the moon or Mars or any other planet, can anything good come out of a hiding? We don't think so. So why should they do that? Instead of straight communication, because there are not people that are selected for this kind of light being work. There are people that self took that upon them, and when they took that upon them, they are aware of that it is the message of love we need to spread.
Well, that's what he's saying. That's what he says his message is a message of love. It's just that, there are a lot of people who have asked, why only you and why, but he did, and David asked him that, that they were speaking to people all over the planet. I know me personally, I spoke about a dream that I had where there was this person who had this like crown on their head, and when I look back at these pictures that I drawn, it looked just like the uh, the avian being that connected with me. And in a session that I had done before, I'm not sure if it was you who told me that that was the avian that was communicating with me. Do you remember, or can
Yes,
you,
they do communicate with you.
with me, Hank?
Yeah, with you, Entity Hank,
Oh, very
very
good.
often. But can you, in the same sentence, say that you're doing this for everyone's good, and in the same sentence say they have this technology for disrupting you? We don't think it's resonate. It can't be true that you can be good sometime or the same time that you're doing something bad.
I know that my intentions are pure.
Sure, but we are talking about this other man that
Understand.
in one sentence say that they try to control you, and in the same sentence say, oh, they all love you. So it's so contradictory.
Well, he's saying that they're calling avians and they're calling the spheres. They're calling them an alliance, and they're saying they're the good guys, and then they're saying that the Dracos and the Greys and the Mantis are the bad guys, and that they're stopping them and helping with the planet. They say that the spheres came into the solar system earlier in the 1980s, and they've increased how many have arrived in order to help with the energy that's coming off of the sun, because we're traveling through a high vibrational, I say, Oort cloud, or gamma ray, I'm
You're
sorry.
surrounded with that. that energy around your planet all the time. But the blue energy you're talking about is there to make you aware of what you communicate and how you communicate. And they are there to help you do this in the right way.
Understood.
So be aware of what you put out and how you put it out. And that's a fact for all of you human beings on this planet.
I'm trying my best to put out as pure as information as I possibly can as I receive it. And that's why I'm asking these questions right now, because when I go and I listen to that, something I feel like I said, there's truth mixed with lies. Yes, there are the avians. Yes, there are, and I know those are the names that we've given them, but you already understand that's how we on in physical bodies have to communicate. We have left, right, up, down. We're in a dualistic state, so we have to put an adjective or a description on it to make a reference. It's for references purposes only, but they say that in sentence, describing them, and then they use the others to say they're the opposition.
So why should they miscredit anyone else trying to do a work that is good for you all? That is not a good message.
Well, I know when I listen to that and they say, oh, they have the voice of God technology, that's as soon as what makes me think, okay, something about that I'm not resonating with. And so that's why we're here and we're asking you, and you've given us amazing information. And I foresee this being very controversial, but my desire has always been, and I've stated from the very beginning, is that if anything that we could do in these sessions would help the planet Earth in this process that we're going through, that is what my intentions are, and they are pure. And there's no one with a gun to my head, and I don't believe that there is like you said, technology that's making me say what I'm saying and presenting myself the way that I'm saying it as well. So
No.
thank you, thank you,
And
thank you.
we are not pleased with this still going on, that you evaluate different person or personality in a different level. There's no one better or worse than another one. You are all the same, from the same source, with the same knowledge. So why can anyone say they are the God, they are the leader? That's not true. But in your linear time, you have been told this for so many years, that if you just have a lot of money, you're more worth than the man that is starving. Why is that so?
Maya, have you ever been physically manifest on the planet Earth before?
I have been visiting planet Earth many, many times, but not
Have
physically manifested, no.
You've never taken incarnation? Have you taken incarnation on a planet with a vibration that has the same way that the vibration is on the planet Earth, though?
Yes.
Okay, and so when you ask why, I think as soon as you're here on the planet and you see what it sort of, it's a very, like, it's a very challenging place,
I
and
put
that
it
it's
in that term as
okay.
a
Very
question, just for you to resonate with that question. Why do we do this? We are much aware of why you are doing this. You have been taught this for so many years, and even before, many of you were enslaved and you was owned by others. This is so very wrong. This is so very, very wrong, because you are all valuable and you are all needed. So this dividing in different classes is so much negative that you do the most harm to yourself. No entity at all can do the same harm that you have done to yourself through all these years.
Because we have free will, is that correct?
That's correct.
And is it not true that everyone that is on the planet knew before they physically manifest on the planet that they would go through the challenges that are here on the earth?
Yes, but even when they are born here on this planet, they still have the free will to decide yes or no. And now so many more of you saying no to that negative things going on, and you must be aware of this, that
Yes.
there's an uprising, and not only in frequency, but in values and in how you perceive the surroundings around you. Many more people appreciate the beauty and the uniqueness of your planet's nature. And you must be aware that your planet are very unique when it's come to this natural beauty. There's not many of them out there in the universe. So take care of it with all your best intent, all your best love you have. And so should you with each other.
Absolutely, and that's understood, and that is the message. This is why we connect with you. You are Myra, from the Orion Council. Is this correct?
We are talking from the 11th dimension now,
The
yes.
11th dimension. Okay, very good. And the reason why I restated that, you may already know, is because this particular video, I don't know if you noticed, I stumbled and I caught part of it, and then the recording stopped and I started over. I just like to get um, a thorough session so everyone understands whom we're communicating with. We always are going to ask, well, temporarily, for now, people are asking, who are they? What are their names? Why are they here? How long have they been? You already know this about us, and so instead of people asking me, I like to ask, even if I already know. It just helps with consistency. That's all.
And very soon, more and more of you will say that I already know. And that's a good thing.
Very good. I had a gentleman just recently have a session with me, and it was very, very interesting. And he ended up getting upset in a sense because he said, I already knew all of this and I didn't need to go and have the session. And I said, well, I didn't look you up to make you do it. You looked me up, and I won't even go into details or what have you, but you're absolutely correct. People are saying that you know, they're
Yeah, but you
making.
don't need to put it out in a negative way. You can
Oh, no, no,
say,
no.
I have the knowledge. And if you manifest that for yourself, then it will be clearer for you. But you don't need to use it to suppress anyone else.
Oh, yeah. Well, well, you already know. I ask the questions and you guys give the answers. So I don't think, I mean, I know, I guess you're not talking about me per se, but I'm just saying, that's my always saving grace. I ask the question, and whatever the person is, whatever information they're allowed to get for wherever they're ready to receive, that's what comes forward. I'm just really happy that you're able to give myself and Lars this information. And I know and you know that it's helping lots of people, and we are very appreciative.
That's
How's
why we're
Lars?
doing this with you, because you're doing a great job with putting our messages and your already knowledge out there again to reveal for you what is important. You all wanted to be in another state, but you're also afraid of it because you are unaware of what it means to be there. But you have that knowledge, but you have not. You have forgot how to connect to that knowledge. And that's one of the things you're going through when you reincarnate on this planet. You are wiped clean, even though You have that knowledge if you connect with your higher self.
Understood. Another thing that's being said is that I've just been hearing this term lately is that our planet is going to sneeze. I'm sorry, not our planet, but the sun uh, that we're orbiting around is going to sneeze. That's the adjective that they're using, and that when it does, it's going to change the our vibration from this third density or third dimensional into the fifth dimension, where we will come into full consciousness. And we've discussed that before, but can you elaborate on that particular process, please?
That was amusing allergy to say that the sun is sneezing.
It's
That's
going to
amusing.
sneeze. Yes, it's going
No,
to sneeze, and we're going to be like,
yeah, but it's not that. It's not going to happen. The sun is also higher the vibration, but it's not allergic against vibration. But
oh,
the energy rising is coming from you, not from outside. You always have to remember that everything that's happened comes from inside, never
inside.
from outside.
Very good. Very, very good.
But there are things going on in your solar system with the sun, with all the planets. It's highering the vibration, but it's simultaneously with your frequency higher, and it's not depending on anything from the outside.
Understood. But in our, I would say, in our incarnation, in our expression of ourselves in these physical bodies, it seems like as if there is an outside of ourselves. It's just the way that it's projected here. And so we always speak from that reference. And I, of course, speak from that reference. Um, just to make sure that the listeners understand, and we're on, I don't like to talk above people or over them, and I try to speak in a way that from the person who knows the least amount of information, who aren't so aware of these topics that we're speaking about, so they can understand. So if they listen for the first time, they don't go, what are they talking about? That makes no sense. Does that make sense then?
Yes, but in the same way, the person with the least knowledge is the more blessed one, because that person has the shortest route to get to this frequency and to get the right insight of what's going on. If you
Oh,
listen to so many things coming from outside, your brain is starting to compute, because your brain is just in a computer. It's interpret for you, and then you are tossed between yes or no, and that chattering going on, and it's setting stop for your development in so many ways. So please listen from your inside out, not from your outside in.
excellent, excellent. This is an excellent session that we're having here. I'm very happy uh, that we're communicating with you today. Um, is there anything else that you would like to share with any of the listeners who are listening to this? There will be quite a few. They've been sort of waiting since, Lars and I have taken a break for almost 30 days. So I give you the floor.
We want to bring a lesson to you. We want to bring you a task for doing these coming weeks that will help you immense. That it's you go out there in the surrounding When you go into the shop, meeting the cashier, and just tell them they are a beautiful being. Tell your neighbor that you are so beautiful, but don't tell them in condescending way, but just tell them and let it come from your heart. It will make them feel so much better, and it will spread like a wildfire if you do this with a good intention. Please try this, please.
Spread love, share love, unconditional love from our heart.
Yes, and it's so easy. Just smile and tell them verbally that you're appreciating that they are there.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, I have, of course, I have endless questions, but
We have a lady here that's amused by your question, and she's always talking to you, but she also loves you so much.
and who would that be?
You are so much aware who it is,
It's Isabel.
of course. She is the one that's connecting us now. She is the one that helping Lars interpret what we give to him also.
Ah, I love her so much. Thank you.
You are so much welcome. And we, as you said, know that you wanted to ask questions. That's why we came forward this day.
Thank you. And I believe Isabel was able to settle my mind with the conflict that I was having in my mind with Lars then.
Yes, because you know there was not a real conflict.
Exactly.
But
Excellent.
she's you and she is always with you. And so am I.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Lars appreciates that. And all the listeners who have been drawn to these sessions appreciate it as well. And I'd like to thank you for them. And I had one a question. You always say one, but I'll just say it. The It's about politics. It's about Donald Trump, the gentleman who's running for the president of the United States of America. Um, could you relay any information about this gentleman whatsoever? Because he's been pretty much saying some things that have not been settling good with our elite. And then he's saying other things on the other hand, which are so disrespectful that it's unreal, speaking about particular races of people and speaking about building a wall. And there's a lot of, it's so contradictory, his message. In one way, he's talking about things that we know, like 9/11 being of inside job. And then at the same time, he's, what could you, anything that you could share with the listeners about this particular entity?
This man is a man that worked out of his enormous ego, and he telling what he think you want to hear, but you have to analyze what his purpose is for real. He's driving this like he would like to buy your acceptance of him, but he's just talking out of his ego. He have no attention to make anything better than it just in his best interest. He
Understood.
don't care what you feel.
Understood. And what about Hillary Clinton. She's another candidate who's running for the president of the United States of America. And there's so many, uh, there's all types of anything that you could relinquish about this particular entity as well without me having to go into the details of everything.
We can say that this woman's ego is not far behind Donald Trump's ego, but she thinks she's doing this out of her heart, but she's not, because she is still too influenced by other powers. But we will not interfere with your political agenda. That's up for you on this planet to solve. And we see a difference in engagement and in thoughts and in ideas going on that also resonate out of this change going on the planet.
We were told that the next president of the United States would actually have our country and the people's interest at best hand. Could you at least speak to that at all?
So then it cannot be anyone that talking out their own interest and from their own ego.
But do we have anyone like that even running?
Sure, and you know it.
Oh, very good. I have a feeling.
We see that you see the picture now.
Okay, very good. And my last political question, without going too far overboard, or I already know you're only going to tell me what you're able to relinquish. So I'm pretty much aware. So I'm not. It's okay if you don't answer. So, uh, Barack Obama, the president of the United States right now. He's of course, our first man of color, president in the United States of America. We were told before he was elected that he would was for the people and he would bring about disclosure and a lot of things. I just would like anyone to know on the planet, uh, if his intentions were pure in the beginning, and has he been manipulated or controlled uh, by, say, what we call the elites or our shadow government. Were his intentions ever pure?
Yes, and it still is, but he has a lot of bad influence from misleading person that try to support him. And
And if
it's not easy in that position to stand up against everything that is thrown at him. But he still had a good intention, and he had still not started any war.
Oh, very good. I always believed in him, and not just because he was a man of color. Um, and
He is what you say sometimes, a man out of the people.
and yes, with integrity. And
Yes.
I've never seen someone with so much discipline. And I say discipline because they've disrespected him in so many ways. But I don't believe that he is behind all of the things that he's doing. I believe he's being uh, forced in a way to make a lot of the decisions that he's making. And I don't know. I just
He
want to
had
see.
had many bad advices from different realms, different interest parts. And it's not easy to sort out what you are going to stand behind when you are when you're bombarded with so many issues you have to solve every single day. Every
Understood.
single day, there's thousands of issues going on.
Well, I have one last question in his terms. Has he been threatened to make the decisions that he's been making? Has he or his family been threatened to
No,
make
he has been misled.
misled?
Yes.
All right, very good.
There are powerful people that are very influencing of how people thinking and acting. They are very unempathic, so they have no feelings for anyone else. They just put their agenda out there, and they are expert of convincing people that that is the right thing to do. And
You know,
there's a lot of that kind of people still.
so do you have a message of hope for us, or not so much hope, but even encouragement that with the rise of the vibration on the planet, that things are literally changing for the better? We just don't recognize it. Yes, are things actually changing for the better? Are we going to see a day where everyone will be happier and everyone will not be under so much control and manipulations by the powers that be? And I hear they're the powers that actually were. Are they
If
losing?
you so wish, you can be there you want to be. You can be in a happy society that thinking of not just me, but thinking about us, because us is me. And you have to recall what I ask you to do. Put
Yes.
the message out of love. Show your appreciation of other beings. It can be animal, it can be anything. As long as you had a positive thought, you will resonate through the whole universe directly and immediately.
Excellent. 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 Very good. Well, it's been a while, and I'm very, very happy to be here again and to have this communication with you. And we are very thankful and very grateful. And like I say, once again, if there's anything else that you'd like to share, we will pass on the message of love to everyone that we possibly can. The information that you gave us earlier was so incredible. I can just possibly imagine how people are going to take this, but I'm going to put it out there. And I feel like it's what I'm meant to do. So
We hope it can resonate with many of you, but we are not forcing anyone to choose. It's from their inner self, from their intuition, and from their heart they have to listen.
understood.
And we can say we have communicated with Lars now during this session also, and he's smiling at me and said, "Why do you keep me so busy?" And we said to him, "Just because you wanted to." And he just smiled at us, and that's so lovely. He knows what he has to do. And so do you, Hank, and you're doing a lovely work, and we would express our love for you and for all mankind. And we know that you are coming with more questions, and you are more than welcome. But you have to realize that you are not already mature to receive every answer right up front. You still need some time to develop.
Oh, very good. You've answered everything so far, so I'm just appreciative for that, and you know,
Maybe we sometimes don't be so concrete in our expression, but there is a reason for that.
understood. Well, the next time we come together, I know I have questions about um, You told me not to worry so much about if I'd ever been abducted before because I still have a lot of questions with that. But how is Lars' body doing right now?
He is vibrating very high, but he is okay. He's a little warm, but
Is it
it's okay. No problem. He's,
so?
he's getting used to this now. We're doing work with him all the time.
Oh, very good. Very, very good. Well, may I ask those questions about the, you know what I'm going to ask about the abductions with myself.
Yes.
So he gave me, okay, I did a session with another gentleman, and this connection wasn't as strong as this connection that Lars and I have. And the gentleman said that I had been abducted uh, by the military. And I don't know if that abduction was a physical abduction or if it was, are they a lot, do they have the type of technology where they can come in and connect with my higher self or with my energy body or my spirit body and interrogate me? Or he said that it had happened, I guess, twice, maybe even more, and they were trying to get information from me, but they were unable to. Is there any validity in that at all?
Yes, they can connect to your mind, and yes, they can use different methods to alter you. That is the military first and most important task is just to make you think as they want you to think.
Well, that isn't.
They can use drugs, they can use electronics, and I have done that on you. But you're not under that influence anymore.
Well, but isn't that the question that I asked you in the very beginning? Was it possible to do that? And you said they weren't able to.
Not
Uh,
from the outside, but are you in a system that you have to accept to fit into the system? They can use drugs on you. You
so,
cannot say, you can say no, but you will not out of fear.
so that was able to happen. That was while I was actually in the military. They actually did that to me then.
That's the only time they are able to come that close to you, yes.
Oh, okay, okay. I just, you have to make sure, so we're not contradicting ourselves. So that's understood. And so, but the other times that I had these experiences, I wasn't in the military, and he's in the session. They said those were with, uh, I'm calling them the good guys, or those are extraterrestrials or dimensionals that I was associated with.
Yes, you you work in different area with many issues, with many collectives, many different communities, and they connecting with you over and over again. But mostly you are not adopted from, you are just rising in vibration and you can perceive it as you are floating up or you have your body with you, but that's not the case.
So this is all with my energetic body that I'm communicating or connecting with the different communities, so to speak,
Yes.
uh, and that's happening like daily or nightly, so to speak.
They connect to you daily, yes, but you are not always directly involved in the work, but you have the connection all the time.
Oh, very good.
And you know when they come, you know it.
I guess it's all very positive then.
Yes, it is. But the military's agenda have never been positive, and they
How
have for all time in mankind tried to manipulate persons because they think that's the way to win a war, to make them to do what you want them to do.
Well, how did they know that I had information from the extraterrestrials? How are they able to know that?
They didn't know that from the start.
Oh, so they, okay.
That's been revealed later by the help of drugs that you're not even aware of.
So was that when I had the surgery
Yes,
while I was in the military?
yes.
Oh my. But they haven't had any interactions with me. That was 30 years ago. 30 years ago. And they have not had any interactions with me since then, have they?
Now,
Are they still aware that I have connections with extraterrestrials or extra dimensionals?
not directly now.
Oh, very good. And are they focused on, are they familiar with Lars and myself and the work that we're doing? And when I say they, I mean the elites, the military. Are they monitoring us in any way?
They don't have the means to monitor everyone at doing this work, so it's a futile task they're trying to do in that case.
So, but if they knew that I was connected back then, are they paying attention now?
No,
All right, thank you. Okay, very good. I don't have anything else to ask with that. I know the last thing that the gentleman told me in the session was, Hank, do not worry about those abductions. You're fine, and it's nothing that I should focus on.
yes, you are fine. And you're doing a great job as usual.
I appreciate that tremendously. I feel like there's a load off my shoulders right now from the information that you had given us from with the voice of God technology and the breakaway civilizations. Wow, wow, wow. Is there anything while you're here? I know I can't help it, that you could relay to us about Atlantis or Lemuria? Anything that you could relay to us about Atlantis and Lemuria?
Civilization that are gone a long time ago. Why
Has
they decided to step off.
Has any of the entities that lived in those civilizations, have any of them reincarnated back into physical bodies while the planet is going through this transition right now?
Many of them, but they're not aware of it.
Oh, very good. What has Lars or Hank, were we uh, a part of any of those two civilizations?
You have been working with them, but not that you were participating in this society, but you have worked with them because you both came and have reincarnated on a water world, as you called it. You have
Yes.
been different entities. You have been whales, you have been dolphins, but not the kind exactly that's on Earth now, because this was a long time ago. But you did have cooperation with that kind of societies on this planet before.
Understood. And here's another thing that just popped into my mind. In that session that I did with the other gentleman, he also said that there were three physical universes. One, he said, was this particular universe that we are physically manifesting. And then, how did he put it? He said there was uh, a not a psychological. Oh my gosh, I'm losing adjectives here. He mentioned three universes. I guess if you could elaborate on that just a little, it'll come to me in a moment. I just have to shut up and think about it for a moment. But are you familiar with the session I did with that gentleman?
Not so directly, but we are aware of what you're talking about. But there are many, many more universes. For every frequency above fifth dimension, it's an own universe, but all are connected, and all energy is resonating through all of the universes. But you
Uh,
will someday be aware of this and see it clearly. It's
in this
very hard for you to perceive this now because your mind is limited in that way.
Understood. In this lifetime, you perceive us being able to remember, have this remembrance.
If you decided to live for a long time, yes.
Wow. Could you tell if this? What about? Well, Lars and I was that. I think it was our intentions. These were our intentions to live a long time to experience this.
We are sure of that because you have so much work to do. So you will
Philosoph-
be aware of many, many changes going on.
Philosophical. He said there was a philosophical universe
Yeah,
of the planet Earth.
all universes is philosophical.
Okay,
It's created by you.
understood.
It's created by us.
Well, I guess the one last question, and I promise this is the very last one that I could ask, and is that everyone, they're always asking about time, but in these next 2 years, 2016, 2017, what do you see? Okay, here we go. I'm sorry. I won't ask that question, but I have another question, and it'll sort of tie in. I did a session recently with a gentleman, and a few of the people that I've done sessions with are having visions of the future, where they're saying like they're meditating, and all of a sudden they're saying they're in 2020, and there's no more wars on the planet, and that there's all kinds of incredible technology that is being displayed, places where they can go in literally in the mall and have their vibrations raised, and why could you add anything to that?
We are not so happy to put a timeline on things, but
I
we
understand.
know that for every month going forward in every development, but it all have to come from your inside. You can't go into a shop and buy something to raise your vibration. It's only you that can do that.
So what do you
Through your connection with everything, when you accept that you are a part of everything, when you respect, when you treat everything with respect, the veil will be taken away from you, so to speak, and you will be aware of what's going on. The future is always what we do with it. It's not happening by itself. It has already happened, and it's happened right now, and it has happened before.
so, so when I mean when so when you say something like that, and you've always said the exact same thing, you've never wavered, and I understand that, but how is it we're here to do work, and we have a mission, so to speak. If we're here to do, we had a particular reason why we chose to come here, and that we're here to help, and that's why Lars and I are here, and he's receiving information about technology with free energy and that type of thing. And I guess with me, I guess what I'm supposed to be doing is what I'm doing now, uh, helping other people wake up to the bigger picture of who they are and their connection to source through positive, loving messages, and doing sessions and that type of thing. And I mean, I figured if we're here to do that at this particular time while we're on this planet, there's a reason. That's why Lars asked, why would he, first he asked, why was he chosen and why now? Why are we here to do this now? So if we're here to do this particular mission now, and you foresee us living over hundreds of years, or at least 100 years plus, in our physical bodies, which means there has to be some pretty radical changes going on the planet uh, here in this linear expression of ourselves. Then does that make sense?
Yeah, in a way, when we think about how you think about time.
And that's important because I'm not the only one.
No, but you have to be aware of whatever expression your soul take, if it's in a human body or in a state without a body or another frequency, you are still you. But you are here now, starting up this work that is so important that it's starting now, and it's going on for a while. And if you stop thinking about the future and thinking about what you're concentrating on now, that would benefit you much more. But we know that you are goal orientated, but that is also making you do some work much slower, because you sometimes feel this hopeless feeling of, oh, we're never going to get there, or what is going to happen next. And you just have to be very patient and
Well, we're
be assured of that everything is in your best interest.
we're not stopped working or anything like that, but
No,
uh,
that
we're
was
not.
not what we told. We say
Yes.
that it can slow you down when you think too much into the future, not stop your work.
Well,
It
that's
takes longer
understood, but
time.
as much love. I mean, I think I've been doing. I'm not trying to toot my horn, but I do a lot of things which I'm sure you're familiar with. That I would. Most people probably think I was really crazy. Doing some of the what the energy work and the type of things that I'm doing.
We are not just talking about you.
Well,
We,
yeah,
we are, we're talking in general speak.
and I understand that as well. But even I don't watch the news. I try not to focus on the negative or anything like that or whatever. But
We are aware of that. That's what we say. You're doing a great job, Hank. But there
but
are so many out there thinking about the future, so they don't have time to be here and now. And it's so much important for them to be here and now and aware of what they sending out in feelings, in speak, in writing. And if you are thinking about the future, you are not you are not able to be here now. And that's very important for so many of you. We're not specifically talking about you, Hank.
no, I understand. I understand. And I do. I mean, in the moment right now, as I'm thinking about this, I'm just thinking, you know what? I'm not doing a lot of different particular things. And when I don't do those things, time seems to really fly by really so much more faster. Because right now we're in April of 2016. And I mean, it just seemed like it was yesterday that it was the first. And so I,
Yes. When you are on the right path and when you are in the going in the right direction, you see the timeline stop to exist. And you can perceive it as, wow, the time goes fast. But it's just because there is no time.
yes.
So when you are on the right path, you will not perceive the timeline in the same way.
Very good. It's really starting to make much more sense to me. I'm so happy we're doing this again. That's all I can say. I'm very happy we're doing this again. And I know it seemed like it was just a blink. It didn't seem like it was a long time. I know for others, it's probably like, I wonder, when are they going to do it again? And when, people have been a little anxious. I can feel them wondering because we've been doing so many sessions, and so many people are almost relying on, or not so much relying, but really looking forward to these sessions. And
And maybe that's a good thing because they have time to think for themselves and not just feed from the outside.
yes, there we go. Very good. I don't believe in any accidents or mistakes. So even the time that we weren't communicating, no matter how it may have seemed, it was still a good thing. So
Sure,
that's the way I'm coloring it. So
it was meant to be.
very good. Very, very good. All right. I'm out. I'm not gonna ask anything else. I just once
Are you
again I just
sure you not have just one more question, Isabella said?
Oh, I just want her to tell me whatever I left the school, and uh, you know, I when you're physically manifested, she knows this. The bills, you have bills, and I have responsibilities, and it's always just bills. That's what it is. It's bills. And when you live in the United States of America, or anywhere on the United States, or anywhere on the planet, everything costs. So you have to pay bills. And I took the leap again. I left the school, and I think I had a huge confirmation because I made a lot of money to pay all the bills that I have. I just want to thank her if she's helping me, keeping me busy, keeping me where I can afford to do what I'm doing here. And still, I only like to do what I love to do. And I've always, in my whole life, only done what I like to do. And at one point, when I started working for someone else again, you get sort of almost tied back into the system, like, oh my god, I can't quit this job, because if I quit this job, then that money won't be guaranteed, and will other money come to me? So
That is fair talking.
it is fear talking, but I don't work there anymore, and all of my bills are being paid. And hopefully, I know she's helping me, and Augustine is helping me. And
They're smiling at you, and she said, I love to pull your leg because you're concentrating so much better then.
ah yes, I feel like I'm concentrating much better. I'm so much more clear.
Yes,
uh, is it because I'm not smoking marijuana anymore?
we think that is a positive thing.
Okay, because I sure would like to have one now. Why was it always so easy for it to come to me? Because I loved it so much? Oh, see, there's another
Because
question.
you were wishing for it to come your way.
Oh, okay. It doesn't hurt me too bad, and if I do it every now and then, right? Well, obviously not.
Of
I'm
course not.
still okay. Oh,
Everything you do with the right intention has no possibility to hurt you. But
okay.
if you do anything with excess, drinking, smoking, whatever you do, that is harmful for your body and your physical being.
I know some of the things that I thought were so important to me before have no weight anymore whatsoever, which I find very, very interesting. And I'm getting used to it. And I know I'm very, very clear these days. And I just wanted to say, which they already know, that as long as they keep helping me I'm asking for help. I desire help to keep me with clients, and to keep me allowing me to do what I'm doing to pay
And
my.
it's why it's happening because your desire is to do this and be able to make a living of it, then it's presenting for you because you're just doing it with the right intention.
Perfect.
So they are there supporting you in every way they can.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. I knew that, and it's so great to hear. You know how I love to hear it, and I do love to hear it, and I confess, and I don't care what anyone thinks or says about it. It makes me feel good. It gives me a sense of uh, what's the word? It gives me uh, confidence. It gives me confidence because with this planet, sometimes it's not easy to ignore the system, so to speak. So,
We are aware that it can be a lot of struggle for you, but it's going to be better for you in what you say the future.
okay. It's more in my mind than, but I'm doing it though, so I'm sort of almost going against the grain in a sense, but not so much going against the grain. I think